Michael Woodhouse.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Minister for ACC and asks, what action is the government proposing to reduce workplace accidents, improve rehabilitation rates for employees and make ACC more efficient?
The Honourable Dr Nick Smith.
Mr. Speaker, the government last week released a discussion paper on extending the accredited employer program and allowing workplaces a choice of insurer. The paper sets out the detail of the prudential requirements for short insurers, a clearinghouse to minimise compliance costs for health providers, the independent disputes process, and it reinforces that regardless of insurer, employees will have the same cover and entitlements for care, for rehabilitation and for compensation.
Michael Woodhouse.
Thank you. Supplementary to the Minister. What evidence is there that these reforms will deliver safer workplaces and better rehabilitation?
The Honourable Dr Nick Smith.
Mr. Speaker, the Stocktake report did a comprehensive study covering the last 10 years of accident and rehabilitation rates, comparing like with like, and found 12% fewer accidents and 15% lower costs under the accredited employers program. The study attributed these gains to employers being far more engaged in workplace safety and the rehabilitation of their workers. Translated over the New Zealand workforce, these would mean 10 fewer fatalities, 22,000 fewer injuries and cost savings of $85 million each year. This is the main reason the government is wanting to expand choice to beyond just a few large employers.
Supplementary.
Michael Woodhouse.
Thank you. To the Minister. What were the results of the 1998 reforms and how does the government's approach this time vary from this?
The Honourable Dr Nick Smith.
Mr. Speaker, it's interesting to note that in terms of the number of workplace fatalities, in 1999 and 2000, the period where there was choice, there were fewer workers killed in the New Zealand workplace than in any other year in New Zealand history, albeit I do accept that just that short period is not able to draw comprehensive conclusions. The first change that we are making from that approach is leaving ACC in the marketplace, i.e. companies are given the choice of an alternative insurer, but they're not compelled to choose an insurer other than ACC. The second change is that there were some problems with health providers seeking payment for care from multiple insurers, so we are proposing a single clearinghouse for all claims. Mr. Speaker, we've learnt from that record and we're sure there will be even more gains for New Zealand from these reforms.
Chris Hipkins.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Supplementary question to the Minister. How will privatising the ACC work account make the system more efficient, given an independent PricewaterhouseCoopers report found ACC was already among the cheapest in the world? New Zealand employers already pay half what Australian employers pay on average, and the private insurance industry has already said they can't do accident cover as cheaply as ACC.
The Honourable
Mr. Speaker, firstly I must correct the member in using the tired old phrase of privatisation. This reform is no more privatisation than the decision in the 1970s to provide, for instance, alternative radio providers, or in the 1980s to allow TV3 to operate alongside TVNZ. If anybody said today that TVNZ and Radio New Zealand was privatised in the 70s and 80s because there were choice, it would be seen as ridiculous. With respect to the 2008 PricewaterhouseCoopers report, the part is most interesting is this. At the very time that PricewaterhouseCoopers was delivering a report for the government to say how good ACC's monopoly was, ACC was simultaneously having talks with the government about a multi-billion-dollar bailout because they had huge losses over that 2-year period.
Question number 8, the Honourable Marianne Street.
Thank you.